Groves from Challenge the Road on YouTube has been looking into this, and he's with us on BBC Radio Stoke this morning. Richard, good morning.
Hi, Stuart. Good morning.
Thanks for coming on to talk about this. What's been going on then with Land Rovers and Range Rovers particularly?
Yeah, well, I got involved because I had a Range Rover myself, and I run a daily car on the channel for sort of 6 months and do a review on that vehicle. And I had a Range Rover hybrid car. It come to the end of 6 months, and I thought, right, I'll sell the vehicle, and I went to a Ford MSRT van, transit van, for the channel. But when I come to put the car in, I realised it had depreciated heavily, because normally I can run them for 6 months with hardly any depreciation if I get it right. And also there was a lot for sale. And when I first bought the car, I struggled to find a good one that I wanted. So that sort of put me in a position to feel I wanted to know what was actually going on, because normally I've bought a heavily depreciated vehicle. So if you imagine the car I bought was, say, 120,000 new, I bought it for 75, and normally I could use that for 6 months and I wouldn't be far away from that figure. But I ended up with about 64, and I hadn't done that many miles in the vehicle. So that's what started this interest in what was going on.
So it lost nearly £2,000 a month. What was going on?
Yeah,
why was that?
So what happened is that when I traded it in, I've got obviously a lot of contacts in the motor trade. They said to me a lot were being stolen. And I said, okay, well, how many? And they said, well, I think it's 4 or 5 a day. And I thought, right, I'll start researching this, and started to look into it a bit more. And then it come to October, November, and because I do a lot of research I started the channel really because my friends and family trust me with cars. So everyone asked me, what car to get, Richard? What should I get? What should I do? So I started the channel to give more information. And then I thought, this problem seems to be getting worse, because I think I can pick up my car that I sold for, say, 64 for 45. So I was thinking, well, what is going on here? So I started to research and look a bit more, and I found some more videos. I saw a Tom Hartley video where he said it was up to like 90 a day and it's uninsurable in London. And I thought, crikey, this is going to really affect people. So I went on a journey to try and understand what they were doing, how they were doing it, how I could help owners. And then I was able to get in touch with JLR directly as well.
JLR Jaguar Land Rover said they don't recognise the 90 a day being stolen number, and neither do the Met Police or the City of London Police, because we've asked them. But this is a target for thieves, it would appear, from what you're saying and other research we've done. Why is it such a problem? Is there an issue with them being easier to steal, or is it just that they're really attractive cars? You're talking here about cars most of us can only dream of.
Yeah, I think all these cars run a lot of technology, and we're getting more and more tech in our lives, and it's in the car. So most of them have these sort of CAN bus systems that they can put in, and you can add and bolt onto them. It's easy for manufacturers to run this through the bottom of the car. So what was happening was, the first bit is that the CAN bus was in the boot, and they were drilling holes in the boot, and then able to get into the car and start the car. Then it was off the, I don't know if you know, on keys, you've got keyless entry. So when they had the first...
don't give us too many details so we can all go out nicking Range Rovers, but essentially there were many ways to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's highlighted anyway on different...
If you know where to look.
No, I mean, it's just more, it's on the Facebook forums, that's what they were trying to do. But Range Rover, put in an enhancement program for this. For the boot area, and also they've done one for this ultra-wideband key. And owners have been very vigilant as well, like they were using faraway cases, different things to stop the signal from the key.
OK, just explain to us what all that means, because listeners might not be aware what a Faraday case does and how people can steal your car without your keys.
Yeah, so what would happen is if you had your key in your home, it's still pulsing a signal. So what would happen is if someone, I don't know exactly how they do it, but if they come to your door, they're basically relaying the signal onto the car to tell it to open, to then get in the car.
So as far as your car is concerned, it's been opened with the key?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Because it's pulsing. So most modern cars now will have an ultra-wideband key, which means it would only work within, say, a metre of the car. So it's in your home, it wouldn't be pulsing that distance.
So the issue here then with insurance, what's gone on there? Because we've heard stories too of people who've either had incredibly high quotes or premiums that they just can't justify on cars where maybe the value isn't that high, not just on Land Rovers and Range Rovers, but other cars too. What's happened with insurance on Range Rovers?
Well, we're seeing the premiums have, doubled, trebled, and obviously it's a very desirable prestige product that is, being stolen. It's been the top, under Fiesta. Fiesta's at the top at the moment for stolen vehicles, but there's obviously a huge amount of them. But the Range Rover is very high because it's very desirable and they're going abroad, most of the cars. So, people are seeing, I mean, we are seeing a lot of the comments on the channel. People are saying that they can't get insurance at all. I obviously recently tried to get insurance myself on the loan car from JLR here, and they recommended me not to do that. They wouldn't want me to have a Range Rover on my fleet policy. So it's a serious problem. But from my communications with JLR, they are making progress. We have been chatting this morning. We're trying to educate owners as well, but also they're trying to put this enhancement program in as quick as they can.
We're told, because we've been talking to Jaguar Land Rover as well, that they're putting £10 million into this to update the technology. It strikes me as odd, and this is an example purely highlighting, I think, a broader issue across the technology, that whenever they improve security on vehicles, the criminals are always one step ahead. Is that fair or not?
I think we're in that type of world anyway. I think that everyone, that the hackers are very clever, and whatever you put in, they're always going to try and get round stuff. But I think it's, it is difficult because when I went and saw the security guy at JLR, they're trying to keep up to date now and keep ahead of where they are. But that is a difficult thing to do.
It sounds like you've done a fair bit with JLR on this, and are you working together with them? I know you flagged it up some time ago, but now is this kind of working together on this, or how's it working? Are they welcoming you in on this?
Yeah, well, I went it alone first, and just, a lot of my videos highlighted how to take off keyless entry, just simple things. Doesn't take long to do that. Faraday cases, some people had Ghost. The problem we found was that it wasn't improving insurance premiums, which was disappointing. But as far as JLR's concerned, yes, I'm in regular contact with them. I'm giving them updates from the viewers and things we're seeing. They're giving me updates on numbers, and yeah, we're just trying to improve it. I mean, I don't want to see the values dropping down like they are, and I don't want people, not able to insure a vehicle.
And so when it comes to insuring one, people have been coming to you saying, I've got one that I just can't get insurance anywhere, or is it just that the premiums are so high that it's unaffordable?
No, I am seeing that people, they can't insure the car even though they've got the car. And I just feel that's, a massive problem. And I've actually gone back to JLR today to say, if you've got your own insurance, I still believe that someone who's had a Range Rover or a Discovery or whatever now should be able to get a quote for the vehicle they provided. And that's what I've gone back to them with, because if it's a JLR insurance program, you can't have a car in England without having insurance. So it's needs to be maybe highlighted more at a higher level there.
So if someone has a Land Rover or a Range Rover, and we're talking the modern ones here, I don't think this is going to do anything for my Series 2A that's older than I am at 54 years old now. Keyless entry just involves opening the window on that. But what can you do? How can you protect yourself? And not just with these really high-end expensive cars, but cars in general where you've got a key fob that you press. Are there things we can do to try and keep it secure?
Yeah, I actually done a list here for the listeners. I think that a lot of people need to know that you need to double lock the car. So, and I'm seeing that quite a bit. So when you lock the car, if you lock it once, it doesn't deadlock the vehicle. But the reason for that is if you had a dog or a person in the car and you want to lock the car, but if there was a problem, they could get out, that's what you do. If you double lock the car, it deadlocks the vehicle. So I would suggest you always double lock. And that goes for a lot of vehicles. I mean, this isn't just Land Rover. There's problems with a lot of cars being stolen. And a lot of people didn't realise that. And that's a big thing. Let's deadlock the vehicle at night. If you've got a key that that has got keyless entry, you can disable it. That's quite easy to do. You just press the headlight. If it's a Land Rover, you press the headlight button 3 times and then unlock, and then that will do that for you. And I've got a video on that on the channel, so there's help there for them.
And does it work? I know you said there that most of these ultra-wideband keys now, you have to be quite close to the car. Is it actually worth, if your bedroom's the other end of the house to where the car is, are you better off taking your keys to bed with you rather than leaving them on the side in the kitchen next to the car?
Yeah, I mean, Halfords do cheap sort of cases you can put them in, or even in a tin box, something that's not going to give a signal off. Or you can just take the keyless entry off. Which is quite a simple way of doing it as well. So you've got some options there.
Thanks for coming on this morning. It's something that we're going to be following up through the week. And if you want to see more of the stuff that Richard talks about, have a look at Challenge the Road on YouTube. If you are a Land Rover or Range Rover owner, is this something you are aware of? The insurance premiums are really high. We're hoping to speak to JLR as well, Jaguar Land Rover, later in the week about what they're doing about it. They do tell us that they're working with the DVLA to contact owners who may be out of warranty or have bought a second-hand one but still have a fairly modern one. We're talking sort of post-2020 on this. Tell them that there are updates available. They're also feeding data back to insurance networks to show that their technology is working, but that's taking time to come into effect. They're working with the government as well to make the possession of amplifiers for keys. It's what Richard was talking about there, where it can pick up the signal from your key that your key's giving out all the time and send it to the car, so the car thinks you've opened it with the key, but you haven't. The JLR say they're working with the government to make possession of amplifiers for keys illegal. If it's something that's affected you, whether it be with a Land Rover, Range Rover or another brand of car, 0800 121 80 80. Have you been told you can't get insurance cover for your car, or a premium so expensive you can do nothing other than sell it?